So my name is Dan Boerner, and I'm a special agent with the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Specifically, I work for the crime scene unit.
What does forensics actually entail in regards to law enforcement?
So in law enforcement, forensics really plays a key role in those cases where you don't have a suspect right away, or even if you have a suspect right away. You want to be able to prove or disprove that somebody committed a crime. Also, you want to make sure that you have the right person as well.
What's the most common misconception that the public has about forensic investigation?
I think the most common misconception that the public has about forensic investigation is that there should be something every time. So there should be DNA every time we go out, or every time we process a scene, or fingerprints every time we process a scene. And the reality is, if someone is wearing gloves, or somebody is, has covered their face or something like that, we're probably not going to get DNA or fingerprints. So the reality of it is that we're limited to what the suspect has or is wearing, or what is transferred from the suspect to the scene itself.
What training do you need to become a forensic investigator?
So to become a forensic investigator, you need to have a 4-year degree. It can be in criminal justice, it can be in forensic science, it could really be in anything, but you really want to focus on something that has like a background in investigations. So once you have that bachelor's degree, you want to have some kind of training in investigations. You want to have some kind of forensic training as far as how to use a camera, how to photograph a scene, how to process a scene properly. So those are all things that you're going to want to have as a forensic investigator.
Okay. We know each other.
Yeah.
I believe you and I have even talked about the effect Law and Order had on juries.
Mm-hmm.
How it increased the standards of evidence. Has CSI had a similar effect on the job? And if it has had an effect, how has it impacted how forensic investigators will go about their work?
Okay, so CSI, the shows themselves and the different spin-offs and what have you, have certainly affected the job or how we process scenes. The general public expects more in an investigation. They expect more be done at the scenes as far as processing. They expect sometimes, for magic to happen, basically, to collect and to document the things that it's just not possible. They see something on TV, they expect that we're going to be able to do it. And I think there are some times where they may not realize that we may not have the equipment, or the equipment is so expensive that it's cost prohibitive to actually do those techniques or do those types of things.
Now, you mentioned cost prohibitive. Lake County is unique in that it has its own dedicated crime lab. How important is it for law enforcement to have access to these sorts of resources?
So Lake County is really blessed in the fact that they have their own crime lab. And so the agencies within Lake County, they can easily submit their evidence to the Lake County Crime Lab and get their evidence back in a relative quick turnaround time. The lab, as they work cases, can also look for similarities between cases and agencies, and perhaps give the agencies leads that they might not otherwise have. Certainly not having to transport evidence to a farther away lab, or perhaps go through a different submission process. Certainly having that all at one place, and having analysts that perhaps live in the county or live in the area, that know the area and that kind of know the people, is certainly going to be more beneficial for the people of Lake County.
What do you enjoy most about your job? And what, if anything, do you find most frustrating?
I enjoy most about the job is that it's something new every day. It's not the same type of crime. It's not the same scene. So you're constantly doing different things. Some of the frustrating things is some of the crime scenes that I go to, the behavior or what I'm collecting is kind of mundane. So let's say if I'm collecting a lot of cartridge cases or a lot of bullets or projectiles, it's basically 1, 2. So that can get mundane, but you got to think the big picture. Ultimately, what you're doing does have an effect on the investigation.